Let me ask you a question. Don't worry, a simple one. What do all these robots have in common? Think about it. They perform different functions, different companies have developed them, still they have one thing in common. And that is ROS. And don't you think it must be of some importance if all these big guys are using it? Today, we are going to understand why do we need ROS, what exactly is this three-word thing, and that too in the most simplest way possible. My guarantee. Hello everyone, I'm Nishant. Let's begin. According to me, there are three types of robotics which people generally do: hobby, intelligent, and industrial. People start robotics as a hobby. They develop some microcontroller based robots. These robots are fun to watch, but they don't solve any real world problem. You don't need ROS for these simple robots. Next, you start thinking of making your robot intelligent. My personal favorite: can my robot go and fetch me a Coke? No, water. All on its own, no joysticks. Or guiding people in office buildings, banks, and hospitals. These type of robots are quite complex. Lot of mathematics and physics is involved. But is this for the first time that we are building such robots? Certainly not. A lot of similar robots has already been developed. This means all the complex maths and physics has already been solved. Can we somehow use that in our robot? Yes, ROS is the answer. ROS helps you to make intelligent robot with least amount of effort. After achieving this, you might want to commercialize your robot or build something for industrial application. ROS even helps in this. ROS is very reliable. Companies like KUKA and NASA use it. ROS, the robot operating system, even if it says so, is not an operating system. Then why it is called an operating system? Because it provides some of the services that you will expect from an operating system, like device management, low-level hardware control. ROS is installed on top of an operating system. The main supported OS is Ubuntu. Essentially, ROS consists of two things: a set of plug-and-play libraries and a communication framework. Nothing complicated, right? In order to make a robot do something useful, you need to program it. And there are two ways in which you can achieve it. You can write a single lengthy program or you can write multiple small programs. The second approach is clearly better because smaller programs are both easy to write and to debug in case of errors. Keeping this in mind, let's straight away jump into ROS. ROS make complicated robotics projects simple by breaking them into smaller, purpose-driven pieces. ROS dedicates an individual program or node for every piece of the problem. Let me repeat. A node is an executable program with a unique name. A robot will take many nodes to function. So we generally put a few nodes having similar functions together and refer to them as a package. ROS provides you with hundreds of packages for all sorts of functions like motion planning, autonomous navigation, and that too for all types of robots, whether it be a robot arm, humanoid, or even a drone. This saves a lot of time and effort. And since ROS is open source, new and improved packages are frequently released by individual developers and companies. With ROS, you don't need to write 90% of the complex code. Isn't this great? Communication framework is the second piece of the puzzle. Basically, we need to find out how nodes can share data among each other. For example, one of the nodes is responsible for reading the sensor data in a robot, but this data is also required by other nodes for processing. This is where the communication framework steps in. There are three ways in which nodes can share data among each other: topic, services, and action. For the sake of simplicity, let's discuss topics. Topics are named channel of communication. Let's try again. Consider topics as railway track connecting two stations A and B. A wants to send letter and B wants to receive it. So A puts the letter on a trolley and slides it on the track. B receives it. This is all. Very simple. Here stations have represented nodes A and B. Node A, since it wants to send data, it is called a publisher, and node B, since it wants to receive data, it is called a subscriber. The train track is the topic which connects the node and the letter is the actual message. Let's look at this again. Promise for the last time. Node A is publishing on a topic, let's name it Poppy, and node B is subscribing to Poppy. The data is published and subscribed in the form of well-structured message which can be of any type like integer, float or strings. ROS communication framework is so well thought that it makes ROS language agnostic. Agnostic? It means you can write the nodes either in Python or in C or in both and the system will still work. Let's meet the head of the ROS family, which is ROS master. The role of master is to enable nodes to locate each other. It also provides naming and registration service to all other nodes. ROS has incredible tools like Arvis, Gazebo, which makes it even more powerful. ROS also has a very active community, so if you get stuck somewhere, you can check out ROS wiki or you can ask on answers.ros.org. You are very likely to get help. If you want to know more about basics of robotics, you can check our first video. Also, I am adding my social links in the description in case you want to get in touch. Stay safe. I will see you in the next one.